obviously he's a good relationship, and he's like family to me. But for whatever reason, the way that he likes to express his love for his friends like myself is every chance he get, like tell a story or embarrass him or do something that puts the spotlight on him, not on him. And so yesterday, when we were all here and he and Winston were up on the stage, and he looked out, and I always try to get out of his sight, right? Because I know if he sees me, there's something coming my way. And so he was talking about Saturday Night Live, and he said Saturday Night Fever, and then he and Winston tried to get me up on the stage, or over there where I was standing, to do some John Travolta things. So thanks for now, when I walk in.
I can't promise about the rest of the staff. I ain't probably all worried about Scott Edwards. So, going back to Mr. H, Mr. Miss H, and you mentioned, as I was thinking about it this morning, outside of Miss H and some people in the family, you probably know him better than you are, would be my perception.
I know him pretty well.
So, from your mind, what is significant about the 40th to Mr. and Miss H? What makes that so special from their perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've just heard him, and he said it yesterday about just how they haven't maybe reflected enough throughout the years. It's just sort of been a whirlwind, and I can relate to that a little bit. Just my career and not reflecting, but he's accomplished so much, right, in motorsports as well as in just the automotive industry, in life, and so what has been really special for all of us and motorsports is planning for this year, planning for the 40th anniversary, and going back through these great moments and how are we going to tell those stories. And so it's been a blast for us to look at that. But then as it's rolled out, or as Rick has gotten his eyes on, there's a book, that going to be coming out that he was intricately involved in, because he wants it. There's the things we all know about, and then there's the things that he knows about, right? I mean, even if he goes into the Days of Thunder and Tom Cruise and things about, and he has a great memory as soon as you jog in a little bit. So I think what he's really enjoyed in Mrs. H is just how this thing's come full circle and where it started. Hard to believe that it almost ended before it got really going, if it wasn't for that win in Martinsville in 1984. And then to know where it is today. But to be able to reflect on all those great moments and the people that have worked at Hendrick, and to see what they've done in their lives and their careers, and how they the contributions they made in motorsports. I think he's really, really enjoyed the friendships and the people that have made it what it is, and going back and kind of reliving that.
Think about part of your evolution with Hendrick Motorsports, and talk about that as much as just to jump out as you, how much it was important to you.
Well, I don't know if it has that kind of significance, but just something that popped in my head. We were down in Amelia Island. There's a big car event down there, and called the Amelia. They were honoring their certificate, and we were on the stage, and Schrader and Pete Terry Labonte was there, Ricky Craig and myself. And after we get done, here's Ricky Rudd that is out in the audience. Didn't tell us. We've been trying to track him down for 40th anniversary because, I mean, people that have been around the sport know, right, of what Ricky's contribution. I mean, just one of the toughest guys, just great individuals, great race car drivers. But he was my teammate. When I came to Hendrick, he was my teammate, and he had almost won the championship a year or two before I got there. And so he was always important. He didn't like me when I was his teammate, from my understanding, or maybe he really didn't like me a couple years after that because we started winning. We won championships, and I think he really wanted to be, you know, the guy to bring that championship to Hendrick. But and he and I had a little incident in Charlotte one day. But I've always loved and respected him. Just thought he was a great guy, and so it was so cool to see him. And he was happy, right, to see Rick and all of us. And we were like, Ricky, we've been trying to get in touch with you. We want you to come to Charlotte for our family event today. And he's like, yeah, I would love to. And so I just thought it was so cool to have him over at Hendrick Motorsports and hear him and Rick, because they have he and Rick and Schrader and, you know, Ken Housen, and they can tell some of the real early day stories that I just sit there and check put on, just in awe of, and just listen, you know, just love being flying along with
Well, we thought it was just us that Ricky wasn't returning the call.
He's a tough one. He's a tough one, you know. He doesn't like the spotlight, but he's such a good guy. And when you get him there, he's as engaging as ever asked for. But he was a great teammate. I really enjoyed having him as a teammate. He was just a solid guy, great race car driver. Learned a lot from him. I learned a lot about racing from Ricky. I learned a lot about the rest of the world from Schrader.
And sometimes it's what to do, sometimes it's what not to do.
Oh, 100% what not. That was 90%.
Everybody can be a good example. Might be a good or a bad example, you don't know. And shameless plug, Ricky Rudd, remember the class of 2025? First thing he told us when he showed up the day that he was selected, he wasn't here, he was working in his yard. Because, you know, he's just that low key. He said, you know, I can't wait to be involved and be a part of this. So, Kevin, I want to go back to the exhibit. One of the things you talked about in there is kind of some exhibit evolution, and the question came up about that earlier. So, what was that process to get you out of silos? You know, Rick could say they worked together, but what was that evolution to get it to not just where it was today, but where it was maybe 10 years after that? Because it took us several years, and I would think it wasn't something that was a one-year thing for you guys.
Well, and so much of, and this is why Hendrick Motorsports is so important to, you know, we talked about the big H, right? The big H is all of it. It's not just, here's automotive group over here, here's motorsports over here. We're more collaborative today than we ever have, is because a lot of these ideas, when you walk through our race shop, the reason why it's as clean as it is, it looks the way it is because that's the way the dealerships are. And so he wanted the same thing, the uniforms, everything, the people, the way they greet people, all these things came from the dealerships. You gotta remember, the dealerships started 10 years before. They're going to be celebrating 50 years here, I think next year, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, so they had a 10-year head start on the racing competition. So a lot of it comes from that. Of course, that all starts with Rick and his vision of what he wants, you know, it to be, but also the collaboration with him. You know, you have stores spread out all around, you know, the country, and those people have to share numbers and marketing ideas, sales ideas, all these things, what's happening in their market and how is that benefiting, you know, another market and how are they learning from that. So we brought that to racing because of that, and you know, Rick did. And so that started with, you know, Rick just really pushing in the bed, like, guys, I'm telling you, you're going to be stronger together. You're going to be stronger together. You got to share. And I think it wasn't until Gene Johnson came over, and that's the first time that we had one shop with two cars under one roof. And that's when the information sharing went to another level. And you know, the 24 car just won a championship in 01. And now here's the 48, it was basically like a mirror image almost of that 2014. And then you take Jack and now it's Jimmy Johnson and the team they put together, and they're like, well, we're going to take this to another level. And so then, as their success started going, we might have given them a nice foundation, but then they started taking it, and then the 2014 was like, ooh, okay, we got to see what they're doing, we got to tap into that. So then the other two teams saw the impact of that, and then Greg said, well, we better build another building, but those two didn't. We should have built one building with all four, but that took some time. And that's where we are today. Today we're in one building, all four cars, 40 and the 24 both started having tremendous success together, and then the 48 to another level. That brought everybody together to where we are today. And that's why we're as, you're still always going to be one that's not going to be as good as the other, but it usually doesn't last long. You usually find a way to get elevated because of the success the other one, two, or three.
Yeah, we found collaboration can take a little bit more, in some cases, a lot more time, but you are more successful in the end. You got to put the team ahead. One of the questions that came up earlier, somebody asked the question about, is there a must-see item? And it made me think I consume exhibits differently than other people might. There's certain things that jump out, and there are a couple of things here. There's a lot that jump out. The two that come to mind, one is the hat you mentioned, Jim Richmond's hat, just because of who Jim Richmond was, and was around in that era, and just it wasn't something I expected to see. Another one, you mentioned the pit crews, and then when we went out and got the Rainbow Warriors, you remember Mike Trower and James Trower, what for them to do power. Yeah, so just that was his hobby, and he wasn't an athlete, but he was.
Yeah, we had some people who were big yes drivers.
Yeah, just
you never knew where they were coming from.
So from the time you got to see this last night, are there one or two things, I won't say favorite, but just, oh yeah, I didn't expect that, or that's cool, that jumped out to you from your perspective?
I mean, that uniform over there, I don't know that I've seen it since 1992. I mean, I didn't even know that uniform existed, to be honest. So that's super cool. And it just makes me reflect on that time when we were starting up this 2014, and Ray Abraham's, role in that first test. And, we were lightning fast. I mean, we went to Atlanta, and we left that test. I'm like, we're going to go win this race, right? I mean, that's how cool things were happening, how fast things were happening, how good Hendrick was, how good Ray was. And of course, it didn't go with it at all. We were fast, but we didn't last very long because I backed it in the wall and went to about halfway through, maybe not even that far. So, but yeah, so that one certainly stands out to me. Trying to think something else. I talked about the leather jacket, back there. And so big part of my, I don't want to say impact, but what was a major focus of mine, this had a lot to do with my stepdad and Earnhardt, was the merchandise and the licensing, side of the business. And so I'm trying to think the name of the guy that made these jackets, but he's out of LA, he's sort of like a fashion designer Jeff Hamilton, thank you. And so Fred Wagenhals, who was running Action, performance, that's before Lionel and all the die-casting was Action, and they were the ones that really revolutionized the whole die-cast market. Earnhardt had a lot to do with that, and he taught me a lot of these. Like, man, we got to get on board with this. But what I loved about him is that, and I'm getting off track a little bit where I was going to start, but what I love about him is that, like most competitors, most times, pretty selfish, right? You got to be selfish on the racetrack, and you got to be selfish in your business off the track, and in this merchandise business. Like, just I want my fans, I want to go to me, my fans, I want to sell them, the gear and stuff for my fans. I don't care about anybody else. But he saw that it's going to take more than my gear or my fans. This thing to go to do right. And this is what I learned about public companies and stock and all that stuff, is because of our Action Performance. And the reason why he brought me in and others was because he's like, this thing's got to be big and be successful and sell a lot of stuff and reach a lot of different fans. And it did, and it will. But so the Jeff Hamilton thing was just, a lot of different ideas at that time were coming that were non-traditional NASCAR things of what do our core fans want and what do new fans what do they want? Of course, we had a rainbow colored car, so that brought in a lot of people. That, I can't tell you how many times I get fans, still today tell me, yeah, I'm just sitting on the couch with my mom and dad, and NASCAR race came on, and they're like, oh, you should watch this race, and you got to pick a driver. And they're like, I just saw this super bright car. And I said, that one. And it's amazing how people became fans in just that instance, that quickly, just because of that car. Of course, DuPont, Exalta loves hearing that a lot. But it's just I love hearing those stories of what brings fans, whether they were young and being introduced to the sport, or fans that have been watching it for many, many years, or what attracts them to the sport, with personality, a car, success, organization.
Looking forward, that's a great transition. We did not choreograph any of this. That one of the themes that's coming out of this is Mr. H. talking about the next 40 years. And you'll look at you, and Jeff Andrews, and Jack Canals. So give us some insight into Mr. and Mrs. H's perspective about, in fact, we're not done the next 40 years, and how you view that. Not what's going to happen, how you view that, your responsibility there, and what's next for Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah, and he just has always had a unique way of motivating people and inspiring them and getting the most out of them, even in sometimes the toughest of times. And so I think that through the reflection of 40 years, I think what has come out of it is like he's doubling down on hey, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. It could be very easy for him to say, hey, this has been one heck of a ride, and this has been amazing, and kind of go out to the sunset. But that's not who he is, and he's created an automotive organization that he knows is going to go on for a long time, as well as the motorsports, and he cares about people. Like I always wonder, like, Rick, why do you care so much about this? Why do you invest so much in this? And now I get it more, because I'm walking different areas of the shops and the floors, and you're getting face to face with people, and you're not just watching them do their work, you're getting to know them and who they are and what they have happening in their lives, their families, who the people that rely on them to do their job, and now they rely on Hendrick Motorsports to keep that going forward. And so Rick wants to send that message very strong of, hey, this is great, we're going to celebrate 40 years, but we're going to be focused heavily on the next 40. And I think it's super, I'm so fortunate to be a part of this organization the way that I have over the years. But for him to include me and trust in me has given me a whole new level of confidence. I didn't think I'd be in this job. No way did I think I'd be in this role, this job, nor would I like it. And so, he's inspired me, and he's given me a confidence and the relationship that we have, and now, it's given me the ability to touch the organization and learn more about it and try to impact it for the next, 40, I'm 53, 40, okay, maybe. but
At least 20 or so.
But it's an organization, right? And it's Chad, it's Jeff Andrews, it's our drivers, our crew chiefs, and so many other people. Scott Max in the engine area. We're now doing work with the GM Defense, and so the company is growing and doing very exciting things. Still winning races, hopefully winning the championship this year. Hopefully doing things like going to Le Mans. And so it's an exciting time to be a part of it, and I think there's a lot more to come.
Well, whether you're here because you're Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, or just Hendrick Motorsports fan or a race fan, the good news is you got people to cheer for a long time, and we're glad you're in the role. And personally, thank you so much for being such a huge supporter of the Hall of Fame and being a part of that leadership group that's going to take NASCAR growing in the years ahead. So thank you for being here.
Well, and thank thank you, Winston. And all I want to say is that when I did my Hall of Fame speech, the key message that I wanted to put out there, because that's what was in my heart and mind, was timing. My timing coming up, becoming a race car driver, when my parents introduced me to it, all the way to when I met, Bill Davis and Rick Hendrick, now even what's happening in the sport today and in my role is just, to me, I've been so fortunate that my timing came along when the Hall of Fame was created, and that we get to experience the history. I get to be a part of an elite group of people that transform sport and grew the sport, and will continue to do that for many, many years. And it's something that, as a race car driver, as a NASCAR driver, I'm extremely proud to be a part of this hall. And all of us in motorsports are extremely proud to have this display. So thank you, and thank the members, and thank the fans, thank you and your whole team. I mean, it's always been a pleasure to work with them, but today and sitting here, it just hits me really hard of how important this is to all of us that are in the sport.
Well, our two most important groups, our customers, our Hall of Famers, and having y'all together today means so much. Another round of applause.
All right, guys and girls, well, we just wrapped up the Q&A session with Jeff Gordon. They are now open to the public, so we are going to take this opportunity. This is my cell phone, so I'm going to first off apologize for the shaking. I don't have a stabilizer, sorry. But we're going to take this opportunity, and we're going to walk around the 40th anniversary Hendrick Motorsports exhibit. Hope you guys enjoyed the Q&A session. Again, certainly do apologize for the shaking. I'm going to stabilize it as much as I possibly can before getting it uploaded and online. I think we'll do some snippets on our TikTok account.
We'll work on something else for you. You? Just the car? Me with the car.
There's my buddy from the North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame. We hung out a little while. He's a member here. Some good insight there from Jeff Gordon about his career and talking about Hendrick and Hendrick Motorsports. You watch my videos, you know Mr. Hendrick and Hendrick Motorsports have been very good to me over the years in my ventures here on YouTube. I've gotten to know the staff very well, all wonderful people. You want to read this? Go ahead and pause the video. I'll hold it here. 3, 2, and we move on. Trying to peek out the window. It doesn't look like it's raining any longer. I sure hope not. But we're going to be here for a while, so. I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody for watching the videos we posted. I know I've been out of service for the last couple of months, but we are back. And thank you guys for all those awesome comments. I'm glad that you guys and girls are enjoying the videos. You are the reason that I'm here doing these things. You are the reason that I battled tropical storm force rain and wind and crazy drivers to be here today.
NASCAR!
You like NASCAR? Who's your favorite driver?
Noah Gregson.
Noah Gregson. All right. I was
met
just
him here and I've been a fan ever since.
You met him?
Yeah.
He's a pretty cool guy, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Well, I was at Stewart Haas just the other day. You know, have you ever been to Stewart Haas? He painted the walls there when they first hired him on. They said, yep, you got to do this. You got to paint the walls.
Initiation. That's nice.
Initiation, that's right.
I'm a big, my favorite driver before he retired was Dale Jr.
You like Dale Jr.?
Oh yeah.
Well, he still drives a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you got to go to JR Motorsports too. So that really cool young fella right there, he lives here in Ray City, USA, Mooresville. He's a big Noah Gregson fan. Check his YouTube channel out. I told him I'd give him a shout out. Touchdown Productions. He's a gamer. So shout out to Christiana with Touchdown Production, big Noah Gregson fan. So we had a lot of cool things to talk about because you know I'm a Noah Gregson fan too. So how cool. So it's good to see a lot of people here at the Hall of Fame today. There might be more people here than I've ever seen here before. There's Chad. Now we had pit crews, recruiting pit crews. Now we have championship pit crews. Jeff Bodine, Dover, 2017 Casey Kane, and then Hendrick Motorsports tied with Petty Enterprises. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 2014 Daytona 500 trophy. Record-breaking wins. Feel free, like I said, always pause the video if you want to, if you need to. We're just gonna kind of keep it going, just kind of keep it moving so other fans can come in. I was hopeful that because of the storm I would be the only one here, but hey, like I said, I'm glad to see fans out here today. We were there, 2024 in Martinsville. Nice collection of helmets. This is the Cup Series Champions case. (2001). hey, we haven't done our analytics yet. If you haven't already done so, take a moment, please. Subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for NASCAR notifications, like these videos, and leave awesome comments. I really would appreciate it. We are just shy, less than 50 subscribers away from hitting the 5,000 subscriber mark. I know we can do it. Tell your friends, family, stalkers, they need to get on here and subscribe to my channel. I really do appreciate it. Jimmy Johnson's 2007 NASCAR Cup Series Championship Chevy Monte Carlo Super Sport. We've seen this one at the race shop. Rick Hendrick just said 40 years, but we're not done yet. That's what Jeff Gordon said as well in the interviews. We're just getting started. Room to grow. Gaining attention. The phenomenal success enjoyed by Hendrick Motorsports has helped elevate the sport of NASCAR Cup Series racing in both competition and popular culture. I'll let you read the rest if you want. Pause the video if you need to. 3, 2, and we continue on. Hendrick Motorsports Hall of Famers, Darrell Waltrip, Terry Labonte, Rick Hendrick, Mark Martin, Benny Parsons, Ray Evernham, Jeff Gordon, Waddell Wilson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, and the newest member, Ricky Rudd. Mr. Waddell Wilson, I see every couple of weeks. He lives in town that I live in. Garage 56 entry draws worldwide attention. That Camaro is actually parked right behind me. Now that looks like a ginormous game controller. Christiana probably knows all about that. He's a gamer. How'd you like to own this? Have Rick Hendrick and Jeff Gordon sign the dashboard up there. I love that blue. That is an awesome color blue. And here is the Days of Thunder display. We're going to start off with a nice letter to Rick, signed by TC, Tom Cruise. There's his helmet. Zoom out a little bit, DJ Wayne. Now, when I was out and about last year, there was talk and rumor about Days of Thunder too, but have you heard anything about it? Leave comments below, let me know. Jeff Gordon's leather blazer. He wore it on Good Morning America. Oh, leadership through tragedy, that's not good. Always in our hearts. Outstanding team leaders. So I'm using my phone because my phone zooms in a whole lot better than the GoPro. Outside of the shaking, it's a pretty darn good camera. I just apologize for the shaking. Mr. and Mrs. H. Today I heard them talk about Mrs. H more than I've ever heard her name brought up. I figured that if it was maybe 15, 20 degrees cooler out, I would have worn one of my Jeff Gordon jackets, but I didn't. It's hot, pouring rain, but here's a really cool 1999 Champions NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Unwavering leadership. And now here's the leadership team for 2024. Vice Chairman, President and General Manager Jeff Andrews. Jeff Gordon talked very highly of Jeff Andrews. CFO, well, that emergency alarm, life-threatening floods. Do not travel only unless you have to. Yeah, that's what I want to hear when I'm here. But I did it. I made this trip for you guys. But hopefully we'll be here for a while. Hopefully it'll calm down before we leave. We still got the rest of the Hall of Fame to walk through. We're just getting started. They have provided us with lunch today, so I got lunch coming up. And at some point, if I feel like it, I'll get my photo taken. This is Jeff Gordon's 1997 Daytona 500 winning Chevy Monte Carlo. And that actually about does it for the 40th anniversary of Hendrick Motorsports. There's Mr. H.
50 years now. She's always been there supporting me, loves the racing. 5 employees to 600.
Thank you guys and girls for watching. Stick
She not only
around.
believed in her husband.
We got the whole Hall of Fame to go
She
to now.
believed in all of us.
Buckle up. Enjoy the ride.
We're part-
Let's go.